like you way more than I should. All I know is that I like you. Even though you got a bad rep in my hood, they don't know you like I do. They don't know you like I do. No, they don't know you like I do. Know you like I do. They don't know you like I do. They don't know, they don't know. I got a crush on you. I can't deny that. They know I fuck on you. You all on my snap with your finance, and I love seeing that picture with your contact and how you throw it back when I'm behind that. It's way beyond that. You got my mind tapped, but where your mind at? Tell me where I'm at. If it's too much for you, tell me to fall back and I'll reply. LMFAO and all. Yeah. I ain't tryna rush into nothing. I mean, we could only fuck if you wanna. We been hurt, so it's been hard for us to love one another. But I'd be damned if I let you get cuffed up by another motherfucker. It's not love, but it's something. I get what I want when I want it. I've been thugging, you know I don't put my trust in a woman. But see, you and me, we fucks with each other, so we don't even fucks with the rubbish. I think I really like you. I think I like you way more than I should. All I know is that I like you. Even though you got a bad rep in my hood, they don't know you like I do. They don't know you like I do. No, they don't know you like I do. Know you like I do. They don't know you like I do. They don't know, they don't know. They don't know you like I know you, baby. I know you, baby. What drove you crazy? Now I know the shit you hate. I know your story so well I could quote the pages. Don't know who wrote it, that's what makes your story so cultivated. I'm on the way, I hope you naked. Put your legs up on my shoulder blades, I make you take it, no complaining. I'm your gangster, fuck you good, then ask you how your day went. That's what you need, and they don't know, but I do. And they don't hold you, I do. Say I got hoes and I do, but they don't know me like you. I think I really like you. I think I like you way more than I should. All I know is that I like you. Even though you got a bad rep in my hood, they don't know you like I do. They don't know you like I do. No, they don't know you like I do. Know you like I do. They don't know you like I do. They don't know, they don't know.
This is HoodBizness. I'm your co-host, Sanamu, aka Sexy Hustle. We have special guests, Kira and Niko.
That's right.
And DeAndre.
Yes,
We're gonna do it a little bit different today. We're just gonna have a panel where we discuss different issues that, because we have an all women's panel that women have today. So,
cool.
how y'all doing?
I'm doing great. How was your day?
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right.
I'm fresh off of work. Well, you didn't have work.
No, I didn't have work, but I'm fresh off of, taking my daughter to look at the venue for her wedding
Nice.
next year.
Nice.
She is. She's very excited.
She is.
Her man is a sweetheart. It's gonna be beautiful.
Nice.
So you know what? The topic of marriage is like kind of for me, just because I personally don't know anybody in a good marriage.
That's fair to say too.
Or like a good relationship. And I've seen women that I know that tried to do it the right way that got drugged.
So what's a
people
good
right
marriage?
here.
I'm gonna say that.
A good marriage to me is actually people that honor their vows. So a man that submits to God, and then that woman can submit to him, and they're raising their kids correctly, and he's protecting and providing and leading, and she's his helpmate. You know what I mean? And like they're really authentically happy, and it's respect. In a lot of relationships, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I know some people get married for the wrong reasons. They just get married because they want to have that title. They get married because they got kids. They get married because they're gonna benefit. It's not authentic. It's not organic. You know what I mean?
And the other percentage of them are the ones who do think they have those things. They just like the whole submission and all of that. Like is misconstrued, it's subjective, and it's relative. So a lot of people think they know what that means, but nobody really told them. Since most of us don't come from married homes, right? You're just trying it out to figure out, and that's what most marriages are, is just figuring that out while you in there without the guidance. There are like older couples, like our parents' age older, who've been married 25, but yeah, there's like a gap of our parents and us. Yeah,
because I even know people like I'll be on not BS, but just to make people leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? They try to talk to me, so it's like I'm married. So am I.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Wow.
That's been the answer forever, though.
That's trash.
What do you mean? If I told you I was married, then obviously I care about my husband.
Right.
Like it's ridiculous. It's like, what are you getting married for? And I've actually even heard like certain women like brag about, yep, he got married, but yep, he was over my house that night doing whoopty-woo with me, to me, like, and they think like it's no respect. So it actually makes me feel good when I see that type of stuff, especially when it comes to our people, because it's like that makes me feel like we do have hope. You know what I mean?
And we do. A lot of that comes from not loving yourself. See, I believe in energy, and energy attracts. So you are what you attract. And a lot of people have a hard time accepting that because they don't like to face their truth.
Right.
You have to face your truth.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody for everybody out there for us.
So really the problem then is people coming into a marriage not holding themselves
Accountable.
I've been looking into
for
shadow
what
work
they
and a
do.
whole bunch of stuff.
And I was just gonna say
even
that.
as a woman, I probably will never get married again. Maybe, but with that said,
Shadow is it. If
like
you
you have
can't,
to do that self-discovery.
if you can't accept all of you, how can you expect anyone else to?
Right.
And that's the good and the bad.
Or if you're not being real about who you are. So if you're lying about who you are, if you're hiding who you really are, if you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I
if
believe
you're
in unions. There's good unions out there.
There are.
I just haven't seen any, and I think it's sad.
Late, but I know they.
So how long were you married?
8 years.
Nice.
8 years.
And I charge that to mostly I was married young. I got married at like 21, divorced by, was I 30? Yeah. So like I was super young. I didn't have that example from my father.
Right.
My mom, like my grandparents got divorced when my mom was like little, so she technically didn't have that example either.
Right.
So like a lot of my stuff was just like I said, trial and error of just like not knowing to give a man space, that you need to have your own identity outside of him. They got a hobby, they got that release from you for sure. We lose ourselves in men. Like we are, at least I can speak for myself. Like you do so much just trying to please that person, be what, as a mom, as a wife, not even just as a wife, as a mom, you're trying to be, for me, I was trying to be everything to everybody. Oh, you don't like this about me, so I got to switch it up and start doing that. And now I change with this person. Like, it's a lot of that going on. And by the time you married, kids, you don't even know who you are.
Yeah, you lose yourself.
You lose yourself.
I literally have a friend that literally went through that, and she just told me that. She said, I got to figure out who I am. I started to try to do this for him and my daughter. She was like, I don't even know who I am no more. I don't get dressed like I used to get dressed no more. And she was extra. She was an Aries. She's an Aries. So she was like hella extra, like with the clothes and purses and.
So, okay, just when I was married, my mom raised me. Is it extra? Like my mom raised me no matter what. Every day, get up, comb your hair, dress like you about to go somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So when I got married, my ex-husband's mom is the opposite of that. Like we got bonnets on all day, robes. You know what I'm saying? Like
the bonnet.
So I'm going to. At that time, we didn't have a washer dryer in our townhome. So I was going to the laundromat, but I was dressed like I was going to the damn. And he was like, "Where the hell are you going?" And it started to be like, "Well, who are you out here, and what are you?" When that's just who I am. It ain't no, and like that would never
and
work.
Unfortunately, it takes us trial and error over and over and over again to realize that love flows.
It does
effortlessly.
It's not.
So if you
it's
got
hard,
me
but it's
questioning
not
myself,
painful.
questioning you, that's a
Absolutely.
part of manipulation.
For sure.
And again, we as women, men as well, have to hold themselves accountable for that.
Yeah.
You have to, because love is the only way to win.
Facts.
So
Love
there's a
is
lot
the
of
only way to
gaslighting
win.
in relationships.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, they manipulating you and just try to make it seem like you're crazy, you're tripping.
Projecting,
But
too,
they,
and deflecting.
Yeah, and they know they're the ones that's doing stuff. Like, it's super unfortunate. Well, my little situation is different. My parents have been married over 50 years.
That's beautiful.
But my mom been through some shit with him, like kids outside of marriage, getting separated, and us moving to New York. And I didn't know that until I was a teenager that even happened, because my dad always was there for me. He was in the military, so it was easy for them to cover up the separation from me, because he would be overseas or stationed somewhere else. So it was like kind of easy for me not to know. But I got like 3 sisters.
So then that brings in the next question that we always talk about. Our grandparents, my grandma is the one wife of 7, all by my grandfather. They stuck around through some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
They couldn't work because it was 1940 whatever.
Yeah.
So women didn't even have skills to like get out and go make it on their own.
Right.
Is our grandma wrong or right for staying in a marriage where you just had 7 kids with my grandfather and he left you to take care of some lady kids? He has no kids with her. You see what I'm saying? So are we just, unhealthy black women because we're intolerant? And I'm not going to talk, like, ideally I never wanted a divorce, but I'm definitely not going to get my spirits broken, my self-esteem, and I know that comes from yourself. I eventually learned that. Relax, everybody. But you know what I'm saying?
Or show your kids that you deal with
or
this.
to tolerate this.
And then you have to watch your kids
because
go
they're
through that
gonna
when
do
they
what
get older.
you do.
I mean, and it's a very small percentage
that don't. Right.
A very small. It's very hard to break generational curses.
Right.
And that's how it starts, from what you see being a product of your environment. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, I'm a firm believer is you have to unlearn to relearn.
No.
Y'all should get
Everything is usually based
dope book
on perception.
Facts.
And everything is perception. So your mind is everything. So if you keep telling yourself, oh, because my grandmother went through this and my daddy went through this, we're not playing the blame game, y'all. Shakti energy is rising right now, which is the return of the goddess. And we have to do that. That's the only way out of this matrix. So we can't keep finding excuses. Not saying that negatively, but again, you just have to realize what your fault was. We allow this shit. Excuse my language, but that comes from the heart. We allow it.
You teach people how to treat you.
And it doesn't make it right. But
so
I
the
do
problem
believe
is
love
the
is
disconnect,
out there.
right? You could be getting it all together, but everybody is in that same place at some point.
Right.
So it might not be that dude is just a bum. Like he's doing the same shit you're doing, trying to figure out, trying to change, hopefully he is. If he's not, that's where your problem is.
Right.
But most decent human beings are trying to be better.
Right.
But if you're not dealing with that trauma, I'm 38 and I'm still figuring out childhood trauma with my
me too.
parents. All that shit goes back to your parents.
Yes.
Period.
All starts from childhood.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And that's real. And you have to
And
heal
what
that.
you see and what you don't see also. Because I have 2 girls, 14 and 10. My 14-year-old, my girls are beautiful. My 14-year-old is beautiful. I'm scared. As she started to develop and stuff like that, I remember even having a conversation with her dad, like, you need to start calling her more. Just take a little more time to try to talk to her and stuff like that, because I don't need her having daddy issues. But her looking the way that she looks, and this is before she really started to get developed, because she is developed. She's bigger than me. Like I'm like, I'm gonna have to kill somebody. You know what I mean? So I constantly like talk to, like, there's no normal conversation with us. everything I'm going into depth. Because
She does
I
that
have
too.
to give you
For
that
sure.
game. I don't want my daughter out here not knowing or being naive or letting some little boy get up in her head just to let her down and break her heart. You feel what I'm saying? I need her to know, like, yeah, that's cool, you like me or whatever the case may be, but what are we doing? Like, okay, you said that, but where is this going? You feel what I'm saying? And I need her to know all of that, because I just don't, even though I told him that.
So the messed up part about all of that is this. As moms, I could tell you 1,000 times. First of all, we all know kids hear it different when it comes from your parents, especially your mom. So I personally, out of my own experience, after not having my dad and then seeing my girls with their dad, there's like this misconception that sons need their dad more than daughters need their dad.
It's equal.
Bruh, it's equal for sure.
Everything's about polarity.
And as a woman who sees my daughters have and he don't even live here, but still when he comes here, they're in the summer with him right now. The same shit. Like, he talks to them like these dudes on the street is gonna talk. This is what I'm saying, all this wild shit, because he say something, I'll be like, this is crazy. Why are you talking to me? Because I don't want you to be surprised when some nigga off the street says this to you. I don't want you to be shocked, hurt, cry. My dad already told me this. This was gonna happen, that's gonna happen. And that fatherly influence, that presence matters. Yes, we could tell him all day, but when you got a man with authority that's there,
it's different.
It's different.
That's what I was trying to say on one of the podcasts, and I don't think people was really understanding what I was trying to say. I was basically saying that a woman's energy can never supersede a man's, even when it comes to the kids. We might have to body slam the kid on their neck for them to hear what we saying, but that man might have to just look.
That's it.
Yeah.
Might not even have to raise his voice.
At all.
You feel what I'm saying? Because a real man that is a leader, a protector, and a provider, it is a respect that is going to be demanded without him even having to aggress you.
And that's
if
the
it's
point.
a real man.
And that's the point, though. It's about balance, and this is why the broken home and that whole thing is so major in the Black community. I'm sure there's white broken homes.
Yeah,
but
it's not the same. Long ago, as far as African Americans in our culture, it's risen 40% as far as
divorce rate.
No, one household families. It's the highest it's been in years.
Well, that's good.
It's out there.
Yeah.
And what I hear, I don't have kids. Okay. I'll be 40.
Okay.
And that brings me to just being aware, you guys. I was at the nail shop, went to the nail shop, and I'm sitting outside smoking my little joint, listening to some Bobby Hemmett, and I see this van, right, in the same parking lot on Havana and Parker, by the TJ Maxx and everything. Yeah. And I just get this eerie feeling, and I'm looking, and I'm like, whatever, I'm doing me, but I just feel this eerie feeling. And I went to the nail shop, and they were telling me that same van was out there. He had just called the police on them. They had went to jail, girl. They were out there damn near lured a little girl.
Oh my God.
So any and everything right now that we're talking about is obsolete. We have to protect our babies. This shit is real out here.
And it's less likely if your daddy.
So as far as this,
for real though,
as far as if a man talks to you this way, it's beyond that.
Right.
It's showing your baby awareness.
Right.
Showing your baby, if you feel something odd, run into the next convenience store, wherever you're at.
Right.
No.
Right.
Another reason.
It's real.
Our babies need cell phones.
Yeah.
Do they?
That's a whole nother conversation.
And that's a whole other conversation, sis. I get it.
My kids got
I feel like
lazy and uncreative after cell phones. I disagree, but we'll talk about that later.
I get it.
Pros and cons.
Because I'm on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But it's pros and cons.
And these baby kids is crying over these devices and these phones and get yelled at and don't want to do. That's where it comes from.
They gonna have a track phone. If you got a kid, they don't need all the thrills. They don't need all that. Program the 3 numbers that they can call.
Hey,
your grandma, whoever.
That's fine too. But on some real shit.
No, that's real.
And that shit's close to home.
Let me tell you what I seen one day, and this was real.
About just protecting.
One day I was outside talking to my friend. My daughter is across the street at the school on her skateboard. But she stopped skateboarding and she was on her phone. We're sitting there talking. I see this car pull up, like she's like on the little ledge. I see this car pull up on the side of her. And they're talking to her. I'm like, who is that?
Right.
So she's like, I don't know what she's saying or whatever, But I started walking across the street
Because our kids aren't prepared.
because it looks like a car full of dudes.
Oh, hell no.
So they pull off. So I'm like, who was that? She was like, some dude that was asking me, was I all right? He said he seen that I had tripped or something like that. I said,
And it's happening.
I said, if those are men, I said, if they had they were so
Even
close
one
to you,
man,
if he had
separate
to
yourself.
open that door and grabbed you,
Like-
what could you
like
do?
that.
I said, when they pulled up, you should have immediately walked the other way or ran home because he was directly across the street. I said, even with me being right there, if he had grabbed you, there would have been nothing that I could do because he was in a vehicle. I said, you have to be smart. I said, you want to do these things, but at the end of the day, with you being, I said, I'm a grown woman. If the wrong person run up on me and I'm not prepared, there's nothing I can
for real.
do.
Even if you got
know
the
what
heat
I'm
on
saying?
you.
So even like, oh, I want to go to my friend's party, blah, blah, blah. You want to do these type of things. I said, but what happens when somebody offers you drugs? What happens when you have a drink and somebody slips some shit in there and you didn't see it because you feel
We tell them
comfortable?
don't accept no drink from nobody.
But I'm just saying, just sitting your pop down.
You gotta have that
I mean,
conversation.
you
I
remember
had
the
the
case-
conversations already.
You remember the case a few years ago about the girl who
She was just on the
she
news. They still haven't found her.
mysteriously
She
ended up in the
up
freezer.
the street. Oh,
that little girl. They had a whole
Friends. You don't got no friends in real
Yeah,
life.
that is not your friend.
And that's, for me, is a different story. I think the government was behind that.
oh shit.
I'm just saying, y'all, hey,
For like
they
so
snatching us
expand on
up
that.
too.
Oh
Yeah, organs and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
They snatching
It's
us
a
up
lot
too.
of stuff going on though.
Just
for
like
real.
Kendrick Johnson.
That
I don't know
old
if you
boy-
remember that story.
You talking about
in
boy
Georgia? Yes.
That shit was
Mysteriously ended up in the gym mat, rolled up,
dead.
with his organs gone. And this was what, 4 years ago?
That story still
it a teenager?
creeps me out. Yeah, high school. That shit's crazy.
So again, and it's all about presentation. I don't know, and I know I'm sure as parents it's hard for you. You don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You
It's
learn
super
as you
hard.
go, and I think again everything is just putting your reflecting. Okay, being able to set that ego to a side, and allow that moment with your baby so that they do understand how real it is out here. Rather, it's some little boy trying to talk to you, some strangers running up on you. It don't matter.
Absolutely.
And as women, I just feel like we need to quit rah with each other. A lot of that is ego,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna get quiet.
you know.
Absolutely.
And I
But
sit
it's a
back
lot
and
of
reflect.
it's a lot of
Reflection.
well, not even self-reflection, but it's a lot of like
Internal
self-hate.
issues.
Well, yeah, it's a
Internal
lot,
issues.
because how you feel is how you gonna move. So if a person is chaotic in here, if they got a bunch of craziness going on, I can't congratulate you. I can't be like, oh, you're
but no-
beautiful.
no
oh,
one's
you're this.
perfect.
Oh,
Because
you're
the
that.
responses
But
you get when you
still,
say that to women, they be
Some
like,
of them be
shocked
like,
that you even
oh my
don't
gosh.
even know what to say. That lets you know. They
And
don't
that's
hear it.
sad.
but
That's
if you're
really
actually
sad.
good with yourself, you're gonna be like you're
Like, girl, you look
beautiful.
cute. I
love-
see
you know
you.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But if not, you're gonna try to find some type of reason to compete. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you're good with yourself, you don't need to compete.
You don't
with
need to
anybody.
be
So this
worried
is
about
where
nobody else.
where I think as far as the dynamics in between women, right? Back in the day, generationally, there was stuff that women passed on to younger women. For us, we don't have that because of the competition part of it. Even women, I'm 38. Nobody in their 20s, I've never been that type of person, just generally speaking, but nobody younger than me or my same age, I've never had like an envious, jealous spirit ever. So when that shit happens to me, younger me probably would have knocked a couple heads off. But now that I'm older, I realize, like, Nakaria, allow this young woman grace. Because somebody gave it to you. Like, I had older sisters that I work with that they man is trying to talk to me at work. And I think I know what's going on. One of my older sisters, Kimberly, I love you. She like knew her dude was trying to holler at me. And the way that she handled it was so ladylike. And it took years for me to understand until now that I'm in certain situations where like sis thinks she got it figured out. It's not that. But I'm gonna give you grace. I can't be out here embarrassing us because they expect that from us. Ladies, I gotta take the high road, even though my pride, like, kind of, but I gotta give you that same grace. We're not giving each other grace, ladies.
You get frustrated, but sometimes you gotta just be like, you know what? It's not me. It's you. So I'm gonna let you figure it out. Because I mean, you know, she tells me all the time I'll be so calm in certain situations.
And that's good. That's a part of growth.
I didn't used to be calm. I had to learn to be that way, though. I didn't used to be calm. I didn't. I used to want to pop off.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you know what? That's
not
giving
even
you
worth
way too much energy. And that's not who I
And it's
am.
allowing that person to control you, even if it's nothing but for that moment.
Right.
But
I mean, inside you know you're going to strangle the hell out of somebody.
On some real shit, I feel like that in particular is not back to like maybe it's back to your parents when it comes to like esteeming you, making you feel confident. But a lot of it is these men. That dynamic
they
between
put women
women
against each other too, a lot.
Dude, and especially in a city like Denver, let me tell y'all, we all know each other. I don't care if I'm 38, she 28, whatever. We know everybody, bro.
We do.
So we might not run you back everything we know because we're ladies and we just gonna keep that between us or whatever the case might be. But y'all gotta know we ain't stupid and we talk. Y'all got to do it better because y'all be having women at odds for some bullshit. Like, I didn't even know, sis. Like,
We do. When y'all be in
and that ain't got to be my best friend for us to talk. But I've learned now to just let shit go. I barely talk these days. I just be like, look, let me remove myself.
I'm going to let you be you.
Good day.
Like, I'm going to let you be you. Yeah.
And it feels, I just realized, I want to say, probably this year, how good it feels when you know you can show your natural black, you know what, to just ignore, to walk away, to take the high road, to not even address it because you know what you did, you know what the situation is. I'm not going to get out of character. And then because I won't go back and forth with you, you're going to convict yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You
That's
can't be
what I
like,
be praying
oh, well,
for.
you said this to me, and you said that,
Okay.
and you said it like this, and you was rolling your neck. You can't say
I
nothing.
don't even want to interrupt you, but that word you just said right there, conviction, a lot of that is not even verbiage. I don't want to call y'all kids, because you're a kid in the mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, but these are not words that are familiar to people because we still in a worldly world. Every day we trying to fight being worldly. All of us. I don't care who the hell you are, right? Right? Conviction, discernment, all those words are critical to life. They don't got that discernment.
Leveling up, yeah. But as long as you go back and forth with somebody that can be wrong as two left shoes, they are going to find a way to justify what they did. Oh, well, you said this. You called me this. I'm not calling you nothing. Is there a problem? No. You mad? No. Because you know what you did, and now you got to think about that. And now when it's time for you to come and even talk to me about what you did, you're going to be scared. Yeah. Because you can't say anything. You feel what I'm saying? You got to really deal with yourself. And that's what a lot of people don't like doing. Because that's why I feel like during that pandemic, that's why so many people lost it.
Scared. They by
because you cannot run from yourself.
Yes.
So when you cannot constantly surround yourself with a bunch of people
to validate
and you have to literally look in the mirror and look at who you are and what you do and how you are, you're not going to like that and you cannot run from yourself.
Nope.
So that's where a lot of these drugs and this alcohol abuse
and a lot of it literally is mental illness. It's sad.
Yes.
And it rose a lot.
No, we're not supposed to lower our standards or our boundaries, but be mindful of what those are. Yeah. Because you're no better than me. I'm no better than you.
Period.
Right? We might move better.
Differently. No. But
that's just learning and wisdom.
Period. And that's what it's about, is rising consciousness.
And you learn a lot from people just talking.
Oh, yeah, you do.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes women don't want to have
a lot of people are sick.
They're so busy, turning their nose up at each other or just, who she thinks she is or who's this bitch? Damn, hi, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Even with me and Nakaria, we be cool, we be chilling. And it's not because, we don't have to do too much. We entertain each other. You know what I'm saying? Or ourselves.
By myself, I be having a blast.
Yeah, we entertain ourselves. We love music. We have a good time. It's good to see people. You know what I'm saying? But then you have the other people that are looking who, it's a competition, but you're in a competition with yourself.
Exactly.
Nobody's in this race that you run in. You're running a marathon, and I'm in a race, boo.
I just hope it gets better one day.
I'm going this way.
Because back and forth, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Kali Ma, the rising of Shakti, like I said, the return of the goddess. To me, all this talk is petty.
It is.
To me, okay? Because I'm leaving the metrics, and I'm not coming back. I don't know about you.
See, this is what I feel about that. You gotta come back.
But no, you don't.
You do.
You come back if you don't learn
in
your
my
lesson.
world, I feel you. But this is why I'm saying that.
You come back.
It's my duty to bring the next one. Sankofa is my favorite ending for symbol because it's not about me learning, and I'm not saying that that's your meaning.
But
so
no, I don't want to
if
come
I don't
back
have
to
it.
this dimension.
No, but I feel it.
Right?
I feel you, but I feel like
for what?
It's all intertwined. What good am I if I learned a lesson and I'm not trying to help nobody else learn that lesson?
Exactly.
So I agree with I get what you're saying. I just think I'm interpreting what you're saying differently.
Yeah. But again, and that's why I think it's petty to be worried about what somebody else is looking at you and how they looking at you. As long as you don't violate me in my space, I could care less.
And that's why
because
we move
it's
the way we
beyond
do.
that.
Because we just be having a good time.
Right.
I see it, but
There's
that don't
a
mean
soul
I
track for
acknowledge it.
everybody,
We keep it moving.
Right.
We pass.
We
to.
are very calm.
I'm pretty sure I'm probably the youngest person in the room by barely. But I'm asking this because we might have people who are younger than us listening. Like, as a woman, what is a lesson? Because you're always growing, you're always learning. What is something you're still working on?
Shadow work.
Okay.
Shadow work.
That's heavy for me right now.
I'm working
And
on,
childhood trauma.
I'm working on mastering my emotions. That's self-discipline.
Yeah.
I feel like once you do that,
You
ain't
good.
no stopping you. Because
Absolutely.
once you learn how to do that, it's gonna fall over into every.
I'm gonna send you a couple of videos I watched
yeah,
about
into
discipline
every
specifically.
facet.
That's
You
what's
know
up.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically just mastering your emotions.
I feel like
because
discipline
people-
is the top of everything you want to do, no matter what it is. If you're not disciplined, which is something I also struggle with, you're not gonna get a lot done. I don't care what it is if you're not
Right.
disciplined.
You'll be all over the place.
Yeah.
No structure. So that's
So yeah, it makes sense, Niko.
Letting go of certain people, like, you have those emotional attachments to people, and just like being afraid of what
like
if this
just
person
people
is
in
not
general or
like
family.
or like a significant other, like somebody you've had a long situation with, is just like separation, but just like completely separated,
Right.
and just like and being content with, like, okay, you know what, this person's not doing anything for me, and this person relies on me too much. So how can I just like detach myself and just keep it moving? So
And not to cut you off, I'm working on that as well, is soul ties. People don't understand how real that is.
It is.
Energy transfer.
Yeah, we talk about this
I-
all
I-
the time.
always talk about
I'll be
energy
standing there.
transfer. That's why we
Like, people don't understand how literally that happens all day long.
Yeah.
Not just with somebody you having sex with.
Yeah.
People
Just
at work,
in
they
general.
attitude, the funk, the stank, whatever they
Yeah.
going through. We transferring that.
Hey, and I believe body snatching is real. That's on a whole nother level. But I was at a Sama little gathering. She's an Indian goddess. Well, she represents goddesses. She was a lecturer. And I'm standing there, paying for one of my little statues, and everybody that walked past me, like, brushed me. And it was weird, and I felt like these fools is deciphering my energy. Like, quit touching me,
Yeah.
But energy transfers and them soul ties is real. Meditation helps in grounding yourself, right? Because you can't blame yourself. That goes back to just mental illness, reflecting on who you are, shadow work. Hey, those are his issues. Reflect, okay, well, maybe I could have did this differently. Or when you know what I'm saying? Own yours.
Yeah.
But never take the blame of others.
Yep.
But meditation, I believe, works with helping soul ties and yoni stings.
Because you're cleansing that.
You're
them out of you.
yeah.
It's not just about, it is
I
about
struggle
the
with
pH
that.
and it is about your health, like from a literal sense, but actually cleansing that
Yeah.
from your spirit.
Yeah.
It's all inside you. So
Yeah.
I agree. I yoni steam for sure.
And that's hard,
Yeah.
And that's why I choose to be single right now. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because I don't have time for the deception and the lying.
Right.
And you out here doing all this, and then I'm being somewhat naive, thinking I got something a little better than what I got because I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, right? I've probably had that gut intuition, and that's another thing. We got to stop allowing ourselves to even be intertwined with any soul contracts
Right.
with anybody.
Period.
So that goes back to just making sure you have your boundaries too, because then no one can come through that border. You know what I mean?
Boundary, yeah.
Boundaries and walls are different. I would like to say that. Boundaries and walls. Walls is like you're just cut off from the world. You're blocking like the good that
And the
people can
bad.
have.
Yeah.
Like everything. Boundaries is like, I see you. This is what I'm gonna allow to happen or not allow. I see the discernment. All of the stuff, like boundaries are healthy, walls are not.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, so for me, I will answer my own question, like learning relationships. I don't want to say I got it down pat, but I figure I got it figured out for the most part. It's just, what do I want for myself? There's got to be a certain point where, like, what do you want for yourself? Marriage is not for me in the sense of I don't feel like people value it anymore. Like, I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there, but if you're going to get married, there's a different level of investment. Like, I didn't want to be divorced. Aside from that, though, I feel like knowing, like, when you say, like, the confrontational stuff, like, I'm just naturally confrontational just because I like a good debate. I like all those things, right? But learning when you actually have a problem with somebody, even though it's not your problem and they brought a problem to you that you feel like is invalid, when is it just okay to not have a conversation? Because at the end of the day, sometimes there's no conversation is about to help if that person is not ready to be accountable.
If they're dedicated.
And own their own shit.
If they're dedicated to committing to their BS, you might as well just.
And even if they come back ready, like, is it worth me having this conversation? Knowing if that's the case or not for me is the hardest part right now.
And one thing we were talking about earlier was just people being aware of their trauma, like like we were talking about man and woman, because he asked, "Were we gonna be nail bashing today?"
We don't got time for that. We're trying to heal us up here. What?
And we were just talking about, like, just how sometimes, you know, we get the blame. We get the blame as mothers. We get the blame as wives. We are a scapegoat for some people.
If we're not doing the right things, we get blamed. If we're too independent, we get blamed. If the man ain't in the household, we get blamed because we didn't raise the kids right. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
What makes that hard, though, is a woman could be doing the same exact thing.
Double standard.
We're catching the hell.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all drag us through the mud, even the good ones. Like, you know what I'm saying? And good meaning, like, I'm waking up every day, giving my best, trying my best to better myself for these kids, for whoever, right? That's what I mean, being my best. I don't mean all the aesthetic and all the other bullshit that society says is important right now in this social media world we're in. But, like, that part, right? We're trying. Like, there's trying and there's doing or not doing, but you have to try to get there. So for me, like, I observe things in my own situation where I'm like, man, if this was me, the mutual parties involved that know both of us, y'all would have ripped me a new one. Y'all might have called CPS. Y'all might have did a whole bunch of stuff, but this man's getting a pass. And that, fellas, I'm gonna need y'all to talk about this on the next one. Like, why is it that the homies get a pass? Maybe y'all, I feel like they not calling out the homies enough. Let's keep it 100. Not every dad is out here a stellar dad. I don't care what the Facebook pictures show you. Y'all got to start calling out your homie. And we don't even got to see that. I'm not saying that I want to see nobody bash they homies. Work on that in your inner circle. I love this woman. No matter what we go through, what happens, I know she gonna behind closed doors be like, bro, like, what the hell was that? That's all we asking from y'all. It's not about calling nobody out, embarrassing y'all. At the end of the day, I don't know the ladies y'all around, but we love y'all. My kids got to grow up with y'all sons. So we passing that on. We got to work on that. We gonna hold the ladies down. We gonna figure it out.
And we love black men.
And black men, y'all got to figure it out.
We love y'all.
Ain't nothing better.
But you got to love yourselves, because I feel like taking care of yourself is targeting your trauma, man. Like, my bro K-Tone and a few others, Midas did this men's retreat.
That's lovely.
And he said, like, the stuff, like, they felt really good. They did yoga. They talked about their trauma. They talked about issues, like stuff that was stressing them out. We even did that because K-Tone was kind of against us doing breakout rooms when we did our little mental health summit. But he was like, at the end, he was like, thank you. He was like, because, man, like, we just got some stuff off our chest. And I'm like, but y'all need to do that all the time.
That's self-love.
And like, y'all sit down and have card games and play spades and
whatever it
do
is.
Whatever to shoot hit bones, whatever y'all do. Have drinks and talk about the shit that's bothering you. Right. How you know shit? Maybe if my dad would have been around, I probably wouldn't be treating these women like this. Or
to keep it
I probably would have been a better father.
But
like, you know.
It's the same shit with us. To get to that point, they got to let their ego down. It's still a competition with men, just like it is with women. Don't get it tricked. I'm tired of seeing this female trait shit y'all be saying. Because a lot of stuff is not a male or female trait. We're human beings. So just like women have competition, y'all got the same thing, that male ego. So y'all got to drop your guard just like we do when you get in that room full of men. Maybe it's just men you trust initially, because at the end of the day, that's like secrets or trauma that you might not want everybody to know. Find somebody who's trying to bring you up, who adds to you. If they not adding to you, subtract them. That's like my rule for friends, boyfriends, homegirls.
Mentorship too.
That too.
Somebody that you look up to, that's already where you want to be. Somebody that you can respect. Now, nobody's perfect, but you need that, because you can't have these conversations with your friend and your friend is doing the same thing you doing or worse, and then y'all sit up there and do some clown shit, and then they validate you in your clown shit because they doing the same shit.
Because I hope y'all got one homeboy that got it together. I hope you got one friend that got it together.
For real.
Please have a friend that got it together, y'all. If not, we got some problems and y'all need to find some new homeboys.
Okay, so to keep it a bug. Well, okay, so what about them people? We know a bunch of homeboys that ain't got their shit together.
You right.
So then that's where we go back to holding each other
together and let's talk about it.
Somebody knows some, even if all your homeboys ain't shit, which I don't like saying that, but that's just a phrase.
Or talk to your homeboy's dad.
I was gonna say something. Never mind.
Sometimes, the daddies might be
not
ain't shit
be there.
too.
Either, I don't know, not even if they ain't shit, they not present for whatever.
Or they missing.
To your point. If the daddy wasn't present, I'm not trying to diss nobody's dad. Like, there's a reason his daddy wasn't present. All the trauma goes back.
It's a lot.
It's so far back.
It's a lot. It's
If our parents knew how to do better on God, they would have.
Yeah.
I promise.
We was talking about that in the spa. I was talking to Myra's mom about that. And she was just basically saying, just, how her dad was, but how his dad was a sharecropper. He wasn't able to go to school. And he had to go and pick cotton. You know what I'm saying? He had to do this and he had to do that. So there was a lot of stuff that he basically had to do through trial and error. So then, you know what I'm saying, he has a family and, he has all these things going on. And I said he might not have known how to express himself. Right. So now that he's older and you have these feelings or whatever the case may be, because see, what I do, a lot of people like in my family, because there was a lot of craziness going on in my family, but I try to understand where they came from.
For sure.
What it's like to be in your shoes. This is where the empathy comes in.
Yeah, right.
You have to be able to know where somebody came from, to know why they think the way they think,
Absolutely.
why they move the way they move, and why they are the way they are. If you cannot do that, then you're not going to be able to understand them, because every last one of us have our own traumas that mold us into who we are. Absolutely. It is a very low percentage of people that says, I will never do that to my kids. I will never move like that. Like, I actually broke the generational curse, like, in my family. But at the end of the day, that was very hard for me.
It is.
And sometimes you got to give yourself a pat on the back.
I think that's something that's maintained, too. It's not like you just figured it out. You got to keep at it.
You do.
You got to teach your kids to keep at it.
You do, but you have to check yourself. And that's the thing. Like, I immediately feel guilty as soon as I get on any type of bullshit. Like, girl, what are you doing? Like, why? You didn't have to do all that. You didn't have to say all that. Now you're doing the most.
Right.
Like, relax. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I do that to myself because I really want to be a good person. I really want to be a role model.
Right.
I really want to be just I want to be able to look myself in the mirror, and there's nothing that nobody can say to me that's going to make me feel bad about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's very important, because if somebody can build you up, they can break you down.
Right.
For sure.
I don't want to give nobody that power.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, it's just like the reason why the men are the way that they are. And we all, of course, we know it stems from slavery.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Because even when you really think about it, 400 years of them ripping everything that was us away from us, they instilled the craziness into us, right? So we were being raised by them, no matter how we want to look at it, right?
Sure.
So then they abolished slavery, right? And
They're
they
trying to
throw
bring
us
it
out
back.
there. We have
We're
nothing.
like, now what? Now what
They're
we do?
trying to bring it back.
We have nothing. It never went nowhere because of jail.
It didn't.
Right.
Because of jail.
Right.
They
But
just
I'm
learned how to do it more
physically,
subtle.
They did it
But at the end
way.
of the day, now they let us go and we have nothing.
Yeah.
So then this man that hasn't been able to be a man because he couldn't protect us, now he has to figure it out, get it out the mud. Then when they start doing it, what do? They start bombing shit.
Yeah.
Burning down shit. You feel what I'm saying? So they got their foot on his neck. So it's just disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And then you can't be the man that you want to be because you have these kids and this woman, you know what I mean? And even though we're trying to love it out of them, they have a lot of shame. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's a lot. But that's the thing. We understand that. And I don't feel like the black men know that we understand that. And they're lashing out at us.
So my thing is, this is not rocket science. Why don't they know that we understand that? Any man in the room want to chime in? Like, I'm confused because
I just feel like they're so broken, like mentally. They don't even know how to even deal with the situation or even like express that to us. Yeah. So it's like they make us the enemy. So it's like everything that they go through, we go through it too.
We do.
But then they do us dirty.
And a lot of that is their trauma.
That's what I'm saying.
Not having
so I know where it comes from.
That issues is not a female exclusive thing.
And right. And that's what I want to make clear. It goes for the males as well. And for me, we are naturally chaos beings, right? And again, that's where the shadow comes in. So you accept both sides of yourself. Right. For me, there's really no wrong and there's no right. To each his own. But there's a lot of men that were grown up with women, single mothers, that yelled at them, cussed at them, made them do all this shit that they wish they didn't have to do besides go outside and play football, like whatever the case may be. Again, it all stems to your trauma. You doing the works, quit placing blame, and figure this shit out. Everything starts within the mind. So if you go on about your life, about what your mama did and what your grandma told you and what your uncle said and what CC down the road, great auntie told you, then that's your business. Your mind is everything. Right. And that goes back to healing, guys. We have to heal.
Everybody.
No matter what it is.
Right. So then we could say it's about healing all day long, right? Like, at the end of the day, I hate having these kind of like not hate, but like I don't like having these kind of conversations because I feel like when we leave the room, maybe not for us specifically, like people talk a good game, right? We have to, podcasts are cool, y'all, but we have to start taking actionable steps. You know what I'm saying? This is why I say like, we don't have dinners no more. The only time I see my homegirls at the club type shit. Like, we can't do that. You have to get along with your people because it's community at the end of the day. Like, we just gonna lose sight of this whole conversation. Me and you know it. Who else we about to talk to about this with? And sometimes you might have to plot on the homie, like just come over for dinner or whatever, make it about something. Not in a way. Don't do them like that. You know, like an intervention, but out of love. But it's not specific to a person. Like sometimes your friends just want you to check on them and see how they're doing. I can't tell you how many times I had a horrible day and she bought me flowers. You know what I'm saying? And came over to talk to me or hear what's bothering me. You know what I'm saying? Like so. Podcasts, all these shows, great. What work are we actually doing?
Just gotta show up for each other.
And not just talks. Like, I took this personality test. I've said this on my own podcast. It's called 16 Personalities. You can go Google that right now. I've taken a lot of personality tests through work, jobs, make you do it for team development, personal development. But this last one I took, it tells you about yourself. It tells you how you are in a marriage. It tells you how you are at work. It tells you what kind of parent you are. And so far, that shit has been spot on for me. But I suggested it for work because we work together all day. I want you to know why my mouth is this smart or why I think this way or why I move that way. Even in our friendships, to me, that matters. Like my background or what my mind is doing in the background when I'm doing this or that. That will help me and you as friends for me to know that this is how you think or this is what motivates you or this is what makes you whatever. We're not on that level with our friends.
Right. But you should be.
You should be.
But most people don't know how to have relationships.
Yeah, true.
Like we said, you feel what I'm saying? Because that's the type of stuff that I try to do. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
absolutely. Like my friend, I love her. She's a Libra. You know y'all crazy. But I know why she is the way how she is. I know that she's a sweet person. I know that I could call her. I might not talk to her for months, but if I call her and say something, she's coming. You feel what I'm saying? I know that she's a passionate person. You feel what I'm saying? I know that she's misunderstood. You feel what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't try to figure that out about people. A lot of people just like to be attached to people.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? They like to benefit from people.
That's
but
right.
they don't value them. So therefore, when they move a certain way,
they're
you feel
disposable.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
They're disposable.
So it's like, okay, you going through something, I'm gonna let you get through that. We gonna come back and we gonna talk and it's gonna be like it ain't never happened.
Right.
But we're not gonna do that again. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's because I know you.
Right.
Because I really care, so I'm listening intensely. I'm watching how you deal with your mom, your brother. You do. You feel what I'm saying? I'm watching you. I'm observing. A lot of people don't do that. But you have to do that with anybody to really be able to get to know them.
And you gotta listen. You gotta listen.
And I'm sorry if you don't have that. I wouldn't call you my friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so many people just throw that out.
They throw that out. My friend, my homegirl, my homegirl.
You don't even know how to have a relationship for real, for real.
Yeah.
You
know
know,
what I mean?
I just think the community will come together the more we heal our own selves.
Yep. That's the problem. A lot of
It's
people
just
don't
part
know
of the
themselves.
universal
Because
law.
where is anybody getting an opportunity to do
I don't
that?
know, but I'm finding
I feel you. I'm a solution. If you read about my personality, I am not just I need a solution. I'm trying to make an action plan right now. Like,
Seriously,
we can
though.
talk. I'm like, oh God, I promise you. I'm like, because once people know what healing feels like and self-awareness,
It is
dude,
so amazing.
I'm still working on it, and I still feel free. The shadow work you talking about,
It's
the discipline.
amazing.
I wake up every day now, and I say, okay, Nakaria, what else is bothering you?
Yeah.
What else is deep inside you about your mom, your dad, your sister, siblings? Like sibling shit is like something that's not touched on often that need to be touched on. But you gotta do the work, and every day it don't never end. And I think that's the biggest misconception. And like people feel like they're gonna get to a point where like, okay, everything's great, everything's perfect, I am complete,
perfect
till you die.
So once you fix
about to be
one
working
thing,
on
you gotta
something.
fix the next thing. Like, you know,
Because as life happens, it's gonna
Things
continue to
change.
shift. You're
Yeah.
gonna move. You know what I'm saying?
And you're
Absolutely.
supposed to.
And you're supposed to master it. So hopefully, if your moral compass, at the end of the day, you got the moral compass, the grounding, the discipline, all those things. Nothing should really shake you that much, unless it's like a death or something serious. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So just mastering that is like my main focus right now.
Yeah. Well, it's perception with everything.
Everything.
You know, I just recently lost my grandma. She was like my mom. She raised me. And I mean, she's at peace.
It happened. Yeah.
She's at peace.
How old was she?
She was 81.
Yeah.
She had just she was like the last of. There's one more sibling, but it was 10 of them.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's like, could you imagine having 8 sisters and 2 brothers, and you don't watch most of them
Die?
But like my grandma was so strong, like she literally took care of like her sister that was a year younger than her that died till she died. She did the same thing with her brother. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to go through all that and to watch all of them, but she had lived a lot of life. So I just, she's probably tired. She's lonely.
My grandma's
she
94.
was sad
I'm
about,
like, man, you've been through 94, 81.
Yes.
That's a lot of living, a lot of different
but
experiences.
My grandma was 97 when she died.
Wow.
She raised 9 children.
Wow. And I'm pretty sure she helped with a lot of grandchildren, great grandchildren,
Absolutely.
and
I
everything.
spent every summer with my grandma until I was probably about 18.
But I mean, and she was a soldier. Like I even just we didn't even know. Like she was so cool.
I feel like they were tougher than
that
us,
last
low-key.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, for real. I thought she was gonna come out of it. Like I'm hearing them diagnose her. I'm like, she gonna be good.
Yeah,
she's still cracking jokes. She's still
Right.
talking shit. You know what
Still
I mean?
moving around, yeah.
She was good. Like even when she was having pain and they're trying to give her these pills and stuff, they give her 2. She only take 1. I don't want to be drugged up like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she was, she was strong. So when she did finally go, of course I was sad. I cried a little bit, but I'm like, my grandma was strong, and she didn't like that crying. She was crying for.
Yeah.
Put all that damn crying. You know what I mean? I'm just like, my grandma was so gangster. So I come from strength. So as long as we're here, she's never gonna die. That energy is still there. You know
That's
what I
the
mean?
hardest thing. I think out of everything I have endured up until this point, that's the one thing I have always struggled with, and I'm working at getting okay with, because it's gonna happen, is death, right? Like I haven't lost my mother or my father yet. I know if one day, hopefully a while from now, that's gonna happen. My grandmother is still here with us. My grandfather passed away, but I wasn't extremely close with him for 1,000 reasons. But death for me, I don't even think it's a fear of death itself, but it's like a fear of not accomplishing what I wanted to in the time when I feel like I've had enough time to. So even at 38, I'm constantly trying to refocus myself, get that discipline, because I feel like I'm showing these babies how to be and how to succeed and how to own a home and how to make sure your money's right and all these things. And my fear is dying and not feeling like I ticked off everything that was my responsibility. So that's why for me, death is the one thing where I'm constantly trying to sit with it and talk to God about, so that when it happens, I feel like I've lived a fulfilled life, because that's for me. I didn't mean to get heavy, but that bringing that up for me, 80 something is one thing, but people dying every day. So I don't want to take 5 years to figure it out. I want to live a full life as long as I have it. So that's been super hard for me. It's just death in general.
Right. I just look at it different. I started dealing with death at a very early age. I had lost my fiance when I was 24.
Oh man.
It happened so abruptly. It just really opened my eyes and made me look at things differently when it came to a lot of different things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just me, I don't like funerals no more. It's like watch people disrespect you when you live, and then they'll turn around and disrespect you when you
die,
die.
or show
Come
up
to
like
your
they gave a
funeral,
damn.
playing games.
Yeah, I don't even want a funeral for real.
You know what
I don't
I'm
want a
saying?
funeral.
I don't like
Yeah.
that type of stuff. It's so disrespectful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's how people are because they don't value nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just look at it as nobody can get to you no more. You're at peace. You feel what I'm saying?
And the energy never dies. I don't know what the transition is after
Right.
this.
Right.
Or if you come back or whatever happens, but I do know that
Right.
the
So
energy is always
me
there.
personally, this world is so messed up. I could care less if I left here. But the only thing that keeps me going is I want to be able to make sure my kids have the tools that they need to be good. You know what I mean? And I just want to make sure, like, if God takes me away 5 minutes from now, like, I was happy.
Exactly.
And people have great things to say about me. Like, oh, she used to make me feel good. I called her. She always made me feel better, huh?
Yeah.
D? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can smile about me. You know what I'm saying? Versus being like, ugh, here she comes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I couldn't imagine being that type of person. So, it's perspective at the end of the day. But I do feel what you're saying. Like, you want to be able to. And a lot of people, you just said it. A lot of people, I can guarantee you, if you ask probably 10 people that, like, about being fulfilled, they probably wouldn't even fathom what you're even talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, like, do you feel like you're walking in your purpose?
Right.
Ask people, who are you?
They don't even know
Don't
what
tell
you
me
mean
your
by
name.
that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like, who are you as a
Yeah.
person? A lot of people can't tell you that.
Yeah.
And be real about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of people, I think the reason why we are the way that we are is because a lot of people are literally lost. And it is sad. So that's why I give a lot of people a pass when it comes to a lot of crazy stuff like we was talking about earlier. They lost.
Yeah.
So if they not happy with them, how they gonna congratulate you or even not pass on that negative energy?
Sometimes you want to tell people, find yourself so you can find me.
But it's stupid because if you
know what
say
I'm
that,
saying?
then people feel like you're trying to like downplay them. No, I'm not trying to be smart,
because you're
sarcastic,
still trying to
nothing.
find who you
Clearly,
are.
I'm still, and then I have to. So then you have to preface it with things like I'm still trying to figure me out too, to kind of disarm them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's not about me taking a shot at you. I've done work to get here, and
Right.
I'm still working. So I'm no different than you. And just saying that lets me know how I could have phrased some things recently more different so that people don't feel like their defenses got to be up. Like, it's the finesse. For me as a woman, I can't speak to being a man. For me as a woman, I've learned how far finesse can go. Because I can kind of rub people the wrong way because I'm very strong-minded, strong-willed, stubborn, and I'm going to speak my mind.
Indirect and very
That
direct.
finesse is going to win people over. I had to learn to, like, kind of chill out a little bit. You're going to win more people with honey. Like, working
And a
at
lot
it.
of people can't accept you being direct. Like, I'm direct at
Packaging.
work all the time. Like, and then people be like, she's so mean. No, I'm just honest.
lot of people
Like,
wanna
I'm
be
not gonna
victims,
bullshit
too.
you. Yeah, and I'm not gonna.
And they don't want to hear when they're
bullshit
wrong,
you.
but that's the only way you're gonna get better.
Right.
And that's so we the people that's begging. Tell me where I was wrong.
Right.
What can I do better?
Right.
How
can
those
I-
people.
Right.
And when
how
you
can I have
don't
done
realize
this
that most
different?
people are not that way, it's hard because you feel like, dang, I
But-
want to be better.
They say the truth hurts. Now I know what that really means.
Yeah,
'cause you used to
absolutely.
hear it all the time.
Absolutely.
Feel me?
Yeah.
For
The
real,
older you
that
get, the
truth
more
hurts.
is that clarity.
Yeah, they
comes
want
with
you
that.
to.
And unfortunately, you just got to walk away from those types. I'm so over lowering my vibration to
For
make
sure.
somebody else
Comfortable.
understand me, to respect me, to
All those
engage with me, to all of that. For me, I'm not forcing any of it.
Yeah.
Right? So if I can't be me,
I don't want to be there.
I'm gonna walk
out.
away, no matter who you are.
Facts.
And you have to do that. Mama, daddy, cousin, it don't
All of them.
matter.
Seriously.
If
though.
I have to feel like I'm lowering my vibration and my thought process to meet you where you are,
Something's no.
yeah, because
it's
at
not
that
good.
point, what am I doing?
I'm sacrificing myself, which is
Thank
something
you.
I should do.
Even-
And all the
Never.
hard work that I've done to get to this point.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with
She
you.
said it and you said it. That's real. Hard work. Hard work. Being an adult, being a woman, is hard work.
Being a
'Cause
man
guess what?
is
The truth
hard
don't
work.
hurt when you constantly telling yourself it. So ain't nobody gonna say nothing to me that I don't already know about myself because
Right.
I'm doing the work.
Right. And it does to like actually change who you are, your thought process from childhood traumas and stuff like that. Like, I literally, sometimes I'll just be in a car and I'll just get to thinking about all the stuff that I went through. Literally, and we'll be like crying, like tears of joy, like, nigga, you are dope.
Yes.
Like, you, like, society says, like, you should have been, like, a drug
outta here.
addict, like
All
a
that.
deadbeat mom. Like, you could be like, I would be horrible. I literally, no, for real, from where I came from, I literally crack jokes with my friends. I'll be like, can you imagine a crackhead synopsis? Like,
it's moments. All of us are moments away from being that. I think people who are at an elevated place, if you want to call it in life, feel like they're so separated from that. No, it's just
it
a
could happen
couple
to
stupid
anybody.
decisions. Could be
right. It could have happened, and because I'd be like, I'm so extra, I could only imagine. Like, they would have to call the police every time. Like, nigga, close the door, lock it, call the police. She's tripping again. You feel me? But I could really be there. Like, I really seen that type of stuff. I really seen some great people in my family just going through the stuff that they went through. I seen, like, the world just, like, take them down.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was, like, the saddest thing in the world for me, because they were really great, but they could not get past the things that they went through, and they used drugs, alcohol, and other things to numb that, and it was their demise.
Yeah.
And then I seen them take their kids through it. And now I'm seeing their kids taking their kids through it. You know what I'm saying? So when you really sit there and think about all the work that you have done as a person because you want to be better, and that is a fight too. It's a fight. It's not. Yeah, it's literally a fight.
And you have to forgive yourself.
And you do.
I think that's where a lot of so-called healing isn't physically healed. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive that person. Do you have to deal with them? No. Do you have to talk to them? No. But that goes back to what both of you said, is being able to reflect and say, hey, I know this person's gone through this person's been through this is probably why this is the way it is when interacting with this individual. But you have to forgive yourself. I've learned that the hard way. You have to.
And that's a lot of people don't do that.
You have to forgive yourself.
And they move out of guilt too, and they are some very unpleasant people.
So for me, that part right there, the forgive yourself, everything ties back to self. Like you were saying, you have to own your own thing. There's this book called Success Principles, and it talks about, in the very first chapter of that book, it talks about how you have a hand in everything that happens to you, no matter how good, bad, or indifferent. You have a hand in that, right? So like, just knowing that and bringing it back to you, because at a certain point, you're gonna stop even trying to figure out everybody. You're gonna love them or be what you need to be if you care about that person, or you're gonna remove yourself because you're so busy working on you. So I just encourage everybody listening, man, woman, or indifferent, like try to do that work on you. Stop pointing so many fingers. And I've still learned that in the recent year. What is wrong with me?
Nothing.
Yes, they did all this stupid ass shit, but at the end of the day, I allowed that. So something in me still is not right.
That's right.
Yeah. And it's crazy how when you go through so much, because I even remember being in my early 30s, and I went through this stuff with my daughter's dad, and when I look back at it, I was like, what the hell? But it's crazy because when I really think about it, it's like, I thought I was okay.
We thought we had it together at 2030.
Because I had leveled up from that person that I was when I was 20.
Right.
So I was thinking I was good. Girl, you are still
learning.
broken. That's why you allowed that to happen. That's why you fought to be with somebody that wasn't shit.
Because there's levels to it all.
Right.
I just knew I was healed. Oh, I got this. I got this.
That's when you get the test, especially.
Girl,
when you swear you got it together, here goes. Let me give you this whammy right here. Boom.
And I had to sit back and say, D, bitch, you're not healed from that.
Right.
You're not.
Yeah.
You got more work to do in this area.
Because would you agree that the lesson doesn't repeatedly come unless you need to keep learning?
Yes.
That? You still learning something?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes,
especially when you start praying about stuff. I just told somebody, I said, be careful what you pray for. I said, because the moment you pray for it, you're going to start being tested.
Oh, yeah. The tongue is very powerful.
Yeah, it's coming. So be ready. Yeah. You want patience, so they gonna test your patience.
That's real true.
Straight up.
But I really thought I was healed up,
But a lot of us think we're okay because we have all these other things okay.
But that's the thing about the human experience, and that's the misconception. Even if you're healed, you're still human. You don't forget everything that you've endured, right? So I think the expectation, even on ourselves, to just always be at 100%. Like for me, I'm a perfectionist, so I just want to always be doing right by people, by myself, by my kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm human. I'm still gonna maybe get triggered. It's after the trigger that matters. How are you responding to that trigger? The trigger's gonna always be there, but if you healed, you know how to maneuver. You know how to handle it, how to back that shit away.
It's the reaction, not the actual thing that happened.
That fight or flight. Act the fool like you would have back in the day when that happened, or be like, you know what?
Or control your emotions.
Okay, I'm gonna remove myself. Yeah, or I'm gonna remove myself because I know how.
I'm just beginning to see what my mom, because my mom, she's a Leo like me, and she was all. I used to think she was so mean, and it's crazy because I'm turning into her. For real, I used to be like, dang, she'll just cut off this person. She don't talk to none of her cousins. Right? Then when they come over, she be like, all right, then y'all, I'm about to go. But she's gonna remove herself.
You know what? I know how this is about to go.
Right.
I'm gonna check out.
And I don't want to act a fool, and I ain't got time to be going to jail, so I'm just remove myself. But she used to always be like, because when I was younger, I was a hot mess. She'd be like, I'd be like, but he did. She'd be like, what did you do? She'd be like, why can't you walk away?
Because we're raised that walking away means I'm losing.
Right. Or I'm being
or that
weak.
the loss is important. Like it's a win-lose situation. That's not significant.
Right, she just would be like, you need to learn how to walk away because you're making a situation worse. You got kids, you got to think about your kids, you got to think of, you know what I mean? And I never understood her, and now I understand, and it feels great to not even react like you don't even exist to me anymore.
And I think like when she tells me I'm so calm in situations, I didn't used to be so calm. I used to be hella rah-rah and ready to knock somebody's head off, and I've had like, I know how bad it can get. So I'll be like, man, we both can't be mad. We both can't be going on. So it's like,
but for me, it don't even be about that. Like it don't be about my ego now. For me, it's about, as far as what makes me check myself, is that I look at myself not just because I'm a singer or whatever as a brand. I have a certain brand expectation of myself, and I also know people who value me or look to me as a leader also have that same brand for me. So as much as I just want to, somebody's looking at me, and it's not just your kids, it's not just your mom, whoever, somebody. Just because they're younger than you, older than you, don't mean they can't look to you, and it don't always be a whole conversation like help me with this. They're watching you, and that's what keeps me like.
And they're gonna get their own perception of it. And even on another level, I was just telling Myra, because we had went to the club and we seen some real strange stuff. I said, what is going on? It's drugs. But I was just telling her, I said, once I seen, like, because the girls were like picking, like they was like targeting us and picking and bumping and doing all this weird stuff, and I'm just like, I'm like having to breathe through, doing weird stuff, taking drinks, and I said, what is going on? I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. So once I seen she started to like, I said, Sanamu, calm down. Because like I told her, I said, you have a brand, you have a whole business. So you never know who knows you. You don't know who looked
or watching you, or watching you,
targeted you, tried to come and start some stuff just to try to like sue you or something. Like it's that serious.
But a lot of it just be energy, like you said. Some people, when they walk in a room, you don't have to say nothing. Your spirit, your essence commands a room. And it's not because I think I'm this and I'm better than that. It's just your energy. Some people, like I learned this about myself, some people just gravitate towards you, and that's what you're saying. Like sometimes you got to learn how to like distance yourself, because yes, some people might need to pull from you, and that's cool, but not everybody should have access. And learning how to be not as accessible is also another thing I'm working on. Like, I can't be this accessible to people because you can't alter my being.
That took me a long time, too.
Just when you come around with your weird shit.
It is okay to say no.
Yep.
It took me a while to realize that. I didn't care who you are. Can you? No. I used to say no and sit back like, dang, I ain't doing nothing. I know I could have.
And being okay with the no, right. Because people exploit that who are not doing, asking you for valid, genuine reasons.
Right. And then you can get, no.
Yeah.
This has been delightful.
It has.
Black women can't get along.
We can get along, see?
Especially when you heal, girl. We are out trying to do some other stuff when you heal. Or
everybody's a work in progress, like, but you know, it's the way you navigate that.
When you can own yours. What more can you ask for, man? No one's perfect.
Right.
Won't be never.
I think my proudest thing is my daughter. Like, she's doing everything the right way.
That's
like,
so awesome.
Graduated, went to college, getting married, all in the right order. And I'm like, she did not do anything that I did.
That's
So I'm like, that
phenomenal.
means I did something right.
Yes.
I'm doing something right.
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying?
You really should give
With your
yourself like
kids.
a huge
Give yourself
pat on the
credit where
back.
credit's due.
Because so many of these kids is off the chain. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we really should, because I have a 24-year-old. He's dope too. He's never been in the gang. He went to college. He didn't finish. He went to Langston. He went to a HBCU. He has no kids yet. He's into the Bible, like super heavy. He's an Israelite. He has like integrity. But when he was a kid, he was like that too. Like I thought like my son didn't like black girls for a minute. I was concerned.
Really?
About
But
Dominic.
I asked him, I said, Robert, you don't like black girls? He was like, Mom, they're beautiful, but he was like, they ain't never in class. He was like, they don't got no books, no backpack, like, you know.
Oh, wow.
But that
It was
just let me
reason.
know
He
he wasn't
paid
one of
attention.
those boys that was just gonna be trying to
His expectations
sleep
was a
with
little bit
girls
higher.
and- You feel me? So that's why we don't have baby mama drama and all that, because we don't have no kids. But we got to give ourselves a huge pat. on the
Yeah,
back,
absolutely.
so.
Yeah. I feel like I did great. And you always worry about your daughters, you know what I'm saying? I worry about my boys too, but you always worry about your daughters. You don't want them to repeat patterns and get pregnant in high school and like, you know.
Rulers of the world. We have the goddess, right? We could talk about who's the most dominant and who's really running shit, but at the end of the day, women have so much power to move a man. That's why you got to make sure your
And vice
daughters are
versa,
on
though.
point. That's
That's where the yin and yang comes into
The
play.
balance.
You got you're nothing without the other,
That's
and
right,
that's a
that's
hard
right.
reality. All this, I don't need a man. That to me,
That's that baloney. I need somebody.
Yeah.
we all need
Application.
somebody. You know what I mean? So I just say it's finding
The right energy.
that right energy.
That right energy.
So do you want to be married?
So I don't believe in marriage per se, but I do believe in commitment and union.
Yep.
But the marriage thing, the piece of
legal
paper, all
technicality
that,
of the bullshit.
that missed me with that.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes that
if
tends to
somebody
be a
wanted to
business
marry
deal.
you and go that far, would you do it?
I
If
would
you
I
felt
would
that like that was your
endure the
person.
union, but I would not have to be forced to get married
That's what I'm saying.
because again, what's for me is going to be for me, and he will understand that.
Right.
I don't believe in marriage. I believe in union.
Okay.
Yeah.
That piece of paper is nothing.
Right.
Right. Okay.
See what I'm
so
saying?
the argument that I've heard from people, because I agree with you, after being married and now probably not gonna, if I find somebody that is my life partner, we could be two committed people in a union, right? I'm 100% with you. But then people started telling me like, okay, well, the legalities of it is why you need, we're in America, unless you're not living in America. If you plan on staying here and something happens when you die, there are certain formalities that need to be in place for your kids if you die, for this man's money,
but
whatever, property.
it doesn't take marriage to do that. That's what your wills is for, and what your written
and your
statements
trust
and
and those things.
That's
I'm
what
with
that's
you on that.
for. You see what I'm saying? That whole
got you.
propaganda of what they're telling us it should be,
Necessary.
to me, is redundant.
Got you.
Because what works for you doesn't work for me.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Okay. All right, ladies. Well, it's been a great show. Is there anything that you guys want to promote?
Oh, yes. Nakaria is at Taste of the South.
Okay, I saw
August
that.
19th.
Trina
Come out.
and who
Yep,
else?
Life Jennings is on
Yeah, I saw
Friday.
that.
Come out, support all. We all there. Look, I'm tired. If one of more of you Denverite Negroes comes up to me and like, Taste of the South, it's Colorado, that. Just be glad we own something. Like y'all swear y'all want to support, but when it comes time to support, y'all find 1,000 reasons not to. I love y'all, but I'm just telling y'all my truth. I would love to see you there. My set is at 5:45 on Friday. All of the other fire homies are about to be singing and performing and rapping as well. Pull up both days. You ain't got nothing to do.
And it was the
Where's it
19th.
located?
Civic Center Park. Both days are at Civic Center
Was it
Park.
19th and 20th?
20th
I thought I
of
saw.
August, Friday, Saturday. They
I
gonna
saw
have
that.
food.
Yeah, it's
have
gonna be
fun.
nice.
Just pull up now, damn it.
gonna be
And my
really
album's
dope.
gonna be dropping in August as well. I've been releasing singles.
She been
I'm ready.
working.
Okay.
Been working.
Okay.
Niko.
Is your stuff on YouTube?
It's on all the streaming platforms: Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, Apple Music, iTunes. Just type in Nakaria in your Google. It's gonna come up. I appreciate y'all.
You want to promote anything?
Saturday, K-Tone is doing
yeah.
the K-Tone Cares Foundation. They're going to be doing a block party. It's free. Please bring your kids. There's always vendors there. I think this time it's going to be at the Gardens of Hope Communities. It's going to be starting at 12 o'clock. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Pray for
And
no
that's what
rain.
day?
It's Saturday.
30th.
The 30th, July 30th.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
right.
there's one more after that because we usually do it
To the end
up
of the
until
summer.
Yep.
Anybody wanna? What's your social media handle?
Oh, duh. How do we? This is why you don't drink drinks when you're
And
supposed to
Mean
be
Girl
doing a
Juice.
job. Okay.
Mean Girl Juice IG.
My IG is _I am Nakira. That's _IAMNAKIRA.
Okay.
And what's your business? We even said business 1,000 times. What's your? Well, is it business?
Well,
we
I
can
do
tell?
hair. I do
Okay,
hair,
cool.
and I sell bundles. I sell waist trainers. I sell detox tea. I sell it.
If you need it.
That's why my handle is Sexy Hustle. It's Sexy _Hustle on IG.
Okay.
She don't really be on it on social media.
Not giving y'all this energy, okay? She already talked about the energy. She
Seriously,
ain't
though.
got time for it.
Okay, everybody.
It's been
So thank
wonderful.
you guys for watching Hood Business. We'll see